Thank you, Ranking Member Reed. I'll open the floor up to questions right now, and I will turn to Senator Mullin.
Thank you, Chairman and Administrator. Thank you so much for being here. You know, my Democrat colleagues continue to rail on President Trump's tariffs, and it seems like a lot of my colleagues forgot that of the literally hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs that have left the United States and the trillions of dollars of not just income throughout our communities, but also the billions of dollars of investments that we've lost over the last 30 years. And yet they're completely silent on the fact that over the last previous administration, they averaged 4.95% inflation at a high point of 9.71%, which was a greater cost than these tariffs will ever be on our economy. And so I appreciate you standing strong and fighting, and this administration for fighting the way that they have. But with that being said, while you were on your manufacturing tour across America, which I love, I'm actually a little jealous of. I think that'd be absolutely awesome to walk into all these manufacturing plants and see these proud workers making a living and developing tomorrow's future. What did you hear about the tariffs?
Senator, first of all, it is such an honor to work for the SBA in terms of supporting the manufacturing initiatives, because you're exactly right. As we walk onto factory floors and we see the pride in American made, we see the American flag hanging in that factory, we're talking to apprentices coming in to manufacturing. It's absolutely encouraging, and they're encouraged by the Trump administration's belief in the American worker and restoring this industry, because we did lose millions and millions of jobs. And that's why the SBA got to work as soon as President Trump unleashed what is a brilliant fair trade agenda. We have to have this in this country. It's the first president that has had the backbone to stand up for the American worker. So that is why we immediately responded with providing more capital. We've already set records for manufacturing loans in President Trump's first 100 days, issuing 1,120 manufacturing loans, an increase of 74% of the 7A loans compared to Biden's first 100 days. So we continue to do that. We're working with manufacturers around skilled workforce. I was at a great technical and trade school last week where we saw students learning everything from welding to CNC machine operating to composites materials, and then finally ensuring that we are advocating for those important tax cuts that will affect everyone and that will allow us to enable this boom in manufacturing made in America through the not just the 199A deduction, but the 179 and the accelerated depreciation and immediate expensing. So,
in your opening statement, you had talked about partisan funding that had been riddled through the SBA. Can you expand on that?
Senator, what we found was an agency that was almost aimed at social engineering through its loan programs. We saw DEI programs that crowded out our veterans programs for small business, statutory goals in contracting. We saw the use of trying to expand loan limits for Green New Deal companies, which are obviously a scam, and we ended that. We saw lending companies giving licenses so that they could do DEI-based lending. We recently reformed that, announcing that Community Advantage SBLCs licenses would be rescinded if they didn't meet capital requirements. These are mission-based, nonprofit, undercapitalized groups such as the Black Investment Fund, the Progress Fund, the People's Fund, and we saw some of their delinquencies as high as 30% when our portfolio runs at roughly 3%, including those terrible data points. So we're really reining that in for the benefit of small businesses who qualify all across this country, and to make sure they don't disadvantage or advantage anyone unequally.
You're starting to actually have loans based on merit, not based on
Yes.
political ideas.
Yeah,
That's great that you're finally getting politics out of the SBA. That's where it should be.
and that's why the loans are growing. That's why the lenders are coming back to the program. They trust that these are fair and qualified loans.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the
Thank you,
job you're
Senator.
doing.
Thank you.